Welcome to Lesson 8 of Module 8, Non-Infectious Diseases and Disorder. And in this video, we're going to be focusing specifically on prevention. And when we look at prevention, we are going to look at educational programs and campaigns and also genetic engineering. Prevention is the avoidance of developing a non-infectious disease. And to prevent a non-infectious disease, it must address genetic conditions, the environment, and lifestyle factors. And it's always the statement, prevention is better than a cure. When we talk about public health, it's the science of protecting the safety and improving the health of communities through education, policymaking, and research in the hope of preventing a disease. It needs to be diverse to reach the many different groups within a population. Education is about the importance of current health issues and how best to prevent disease in the community. So therefore, the programs and campaigns run in each community may be different, and it may require change to policy and legislation. It requires lots of different ways of communicating. It also requires a large evidence base and a commitment from politicians. So some campaigns you may have heard about is health education. They may give lifestyle advice. They may monitor risk factors. Sometimes it's the inclusion of taxes to discourage unhealthy lifestyle choices, but also incorporates changes to policy and legislation to support healthy lifestyle choices. And we've got one example of an educational program or campaign here, which is the Be Sunsmart. So slip, slop, slap, seek and slide. If you've heard this ever before, then this is an educational program used to prevent skin cancer. Some other types of educational programs and campaigns that you may have seen, the Quit Line, any ads about drink driving and aiming to educate the public about the danger of drink driving. The Health Star rating system is another campaign, Jump for Heart Rope, and also the Dark Side of Tanning campaign was one in hope of reducing the incidence of melanoma in Australians. Another one is population screening, and this is the testing or examining of individuals for non-infectious diseases. So I've listed here about breast cancer, the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program, which you would have seen the ads come up a lot more recently about what you need to do when you're turning 60. And then we've had the National Cervical Cancer Screening Program. This may be offered to groups based on their biological sex, age, or ethnic group, or to individuals known to be at risk of inheriting or developing a specific non-infectious disease based on their family or medical history. When we talk about screening, it's simple tests to look for particular changes or any early signs of disease before the disease has developed or symptoms arise. And when we talk about breast cancer, you may see those big, large breast cancer screening trucks that make their way around the community. And this is just one of the ways which we can try and screen women early to prevent diseases before they happen, or at least when we notice them, to get them early. Genetic engineering can be used in pre-implantation testing in IVF. It's also useful for preventing nutritional diseases. So an example we've looked at in one of our other modules was golden rice to aim to combat vitamin A deficiency. Screening for disease susceptibility, and producing vaccines to prevent some cancers. And again, we've mentioned here the HPV vaccination. It may include genetically modified cells, such as cancer immunotherapy, which boosts the numbers of T cells for targeting cancer cells, or it may include using genetic engineering for gene therapy, so using DNA to treat diseases caused by missing or dysfunctional genes and proteins. So an example here is using modified cells for cancer therapy. And so we see the insertion of the TCR gene, or the T cell receptor gene, putting it into our cell culture, and then these genetically modified cells are returned to the patient to increase the number of T lymphocytes in the body. And here we have gene therapy, so the recombinant DNA, like we've looked at in Module 5 and 6. So how we might use these for therapeutic cloning to deliver these genes to cells for gene therapy. That concludes our video. Make sure you tune in to the next video in the Module 8 series.